Hey y'all, welcome back to By Devon Nails. I'm so glad that you are here today. A big hello and thank you to all of my subscribers, and a hello especially for anyone that is new here today. Today I'm going to be using Thunderbird Lane Dip Powder and Nailzinacoffin decals. So I've got three gorgeous glitters from Thunderbird Lane and their Yeti Illumination Powder. They are gorgeous, and as always, Thunderbird Lane does not disappoint in terms of coverage. So we've got Sailor's Delight, Tropical Sunset, and Stargazing at Dusk, which is a thermal. And then this gorgeous fall abstractual fall decal from Nailzinacoffin. And I do have the long version here, so I grabbed out some longer tips so I can really utilize that long length. So I'm using this Yeti Illumination powder. This powder is so amazing. First off, it has an awesome, fun glow. It's a little bit blue-green, and you can mix it in with other colors, or I sometimes just use it alone like this. Because it is intended more to be mixed in with other colors, it is a tiny bit grainy, but I always put it underneath, so this hasn't caused me any problems. If you are going to mix it in with other colors, do small amounts at a time until you get that glow you want, because it can change the color of the original dip, because as you can see here, it does have a lighter color. So just keep that in mind as you're mixing, and mix slowly so you can figure out just the exact amount that you need without possibly changing the color into something you don't like as much. So I did 2 coats of this because I wanted these things to glow. Really, 1 layer probably would have been enough to get a glow, but I know that these 3 glitters from Thunderbird Lane are not going to need a lot of layers, so I kind of built those extra layers using this powder. Even on my tips, I usually do 2 to 3 layers. When I'm dipping on my natural nails, I'll do more of a modified apex. You can see that in my process video, where I'm going to do somewhere between 4 and 5, depending on what color I'm looking for. So I started with this gorgeous thermal. You can see here that it transitions to this really pretty purple color when it is colder, and then it is this really pretty pink color in other temperatures. I just loved how this dip looked, and look at that coverage with even just 1 layer. That's one of my favorite parts about Thunderbird Lane. Her dips are so amazing. These are great if you need to do a mani in like 30 minutes and you don't have time to do a whole bunch of layers, or if you're somebody who keeps a builder gel base that's building your apex and you just want to quickly go in for a new color. You could easily get it done with these Thunderbird Lanes with 1 layer, because these have such great coverage. Alright, just dusting off of the extra. This is a great glitter to have a good mat underneath, because those little glitters are kind of going to get everywhere. If you've got a lot of statickiness in your dip, you can always throw them in the fridge. That can help a little bit. So I'm going to go in and add a second layer for this one. I just want to make it just a slightly bit darker so that it matches closer to this decal. All right, dusting them all off just one more time before I move on to my next step. So I'm going to go in now and I am going to activate. Oh, look at that transition when I activate. That is so gorgeous, that dark, deep color. Definitely reminiscent of dusk, as is in their name. I love when a thermal changes when you're doing the activating and the top coat. It to me is a great sign that it is an amazing color and it is going to do a lot of shifting when you wear it. So I did a little bit of buffing on that, just the one I'm going to put the decal on. I'll go in and buff the others when I'm all through. So I did cut out my decal and I'm going to soak it for less than 15 seconds. I do as short as possible, basically just enough to remove the paper backing. These are water soluble, so the longer you leave them in there, you do risk potentially getting a more kind of like washed out look on your decal, because the colors will start to kind of wash out a little bit. So I use a sticky base coat. The sticky base coat that I'm using here is Clear Jelly Stamper. I really like the Clear Jelly Stamper, but I've got to be honest, this was the first bottle that I had of it, and between doing this mani and another few manis, I ran out, and so I had a second bottle. But when I opened that bottle, it is not as sticky as the first bottle was. Now, don't get me wrong, Clear Jelly Stamper is not super sticky. It is not as sticky as my Maniology sticky base coat, but I actually kind of like that. But my newest bottle is not sticky at all. So I'm not sure if I got a bad bottle or what happened. So just keep that in mind. I absolutely love the Clear Jelly Stamper sticky base coat, but my newest bottle has been a little odd, and I never want to lie to you all. I want to let you know exactly what I'm thinking. So that's where I am with the Clear Jelly Stamper sticky base coat. I've kind of moved back to Maniology, which is stickier, but I don't know if it was just a bad bottle or not. So I probably will give it one more try because I loved it that much. So you see here, I did trim my decal and then do these little tiny slits, just like probably like a millimeter in. I find that I'd prefer to do more little slits rather than one longer one, and then I kind of just press them under. You can definitely do this if you're doing it on your natural nails, but you can also go in with that acetone pen, which will kind of melt the decal, and then I use a metal toothpick, the same one that I use when I'm doing my cuticles, when I'm doing it on my natural nail, to kind of push the decal down on my natural nails after I've used the acetone pen, and that kind of breaks it down, and it kind of like perforates it almost. Then you can kind of just carefully tear it out, and that usually is enough to get it to go along along the curve of my nails. My natural nails do not have quite as much of a curve as these tips, so I have to do a little bit more cutting on them. Then I do put a layer of activator on the top of the decal and then around the sides like you just saw here, so I can fold it under and push it down with this silicone tipped brush that is also from Clear Jelly Stamper. I did use my iDippedThat liquids for this mani, and they worked wonderfully. Absolutely love them. Unfortunately, they've decided to spend more time with family, so they've decided not to continue on their business. So their choice there is helpful if you want to try out these liquids. They are 60% off right now. But if you've never tried them before, you might fall in love like I have, and then you're going to be looking for new liquids again. But all of their powders are currently in their scoopful, so you can definitely try that out. So then I do one layer of base on top of my decal, and I'm going to let that dry. It already has activator on it, so it doesn't take that long. If you had not used activator, you could just wait for it to dry in the air, which also doesn't take too long. I had two things of Thunderbird Lane Clear, so I combined them together here, and now I'm going to go in with a second layer of base and dip this decal straight into my clear. I do cap my edges. I want to keep any water out of this decal so it stays nice and beautiful the whole time I'm wearing it. Alright, so now that I've got my clear, I'm going to go in with my activator one more time on all of these nails. I'd kind of forgotten I had activated already, or I wouldn't have done these four again. And then I'm going to go in with my stiff brush and remove any of that clear. So I've got a fluffy brush first. I always start with that just to make sure that the activator has fully worked and I'm not going to move any of that or get dings. Then the stiff brush to get off all of the extra. Look how gorgeous this decal is. Nailzinacoffin, these are so pretty. I can't wait to use them again. I love the simplicity of this decal, and in the long length it's so fun. So I activated that clear now, wiping them all off with alcohol. So pretty. And I love this deep color on that thermal. So fun. It's kind of like almost a navy but with some purple tones. Oh, did you see that transition there? If you didn't, go back 10 seconds and watch that pinky transition. It'll probably happen with the thumb too, so watch for it. Here, let's see. Oh, there it is. Gorgeous. And then I do go in with a second layer. That's how I get a really great shine even without using a gel top coat. I do the second layer before the first layer is fully dry. I just do all 5 and then go back through. This mani was so simple, especially with these great glitters that are so full coverage, even with that one layer. I know I keep saying it, but I'm always so impressed with Thunderbird Lane and how easy their glitters are to use. These are a fine glitter. They are so sparkly and so fun. So let's look at our final look, get the lighting right. Oh, so pretty. And here is that final look. Loving how this turned out and that glow that we worked for. Gorgeous. This was by Devon. Thanks, y'all. I'll see you on the next one.